joining us, going down the line, we have Cody Byer from the other side. We have David Major, who's normally the host of the A3K podcast, but he is doing convention duty and drinking his convention smoothie while he is
Yes, convention smoothie. That's what it's called, Sean.
When he's on the show. And we have the queen of Anime 3000, JD Banks, who you can also check out on the Manga Corner, which was released not too long ago, so check that out. And of course, there's me, Sean Russell. Attack on Titan, the live action film trailers have been released. The collective anime world is talking, and so are we. So, JD, what are your thoughts on what has been released so far with the Attack on Titan live action film?
Actually, I do remember there was an audition for the live action film, and they said if you're a foreigner, because based on Attack on Titan, all the Titans are foreigner looking, I guess. If you're a foreigner who weighs under, I think, 85 kilograms, which is over 170 pounds, then you can audition for the live action movie in Japan. Of course, that was last year, and I was like, oh my god, they're even putting foreigners in? Oh my god, it has to be good, you know? So, if it's good, I'm not sure, but I guess it really just depends on what storyline, like how they're going to depict the manga. So, I'm really excited about this live action. I really hope that people will go and watch it, so, yeah.
Now, have you seen any of that foreigner influence in some of the trailers that have come out? Like, have you seen any of that leaking through?
A little bit, but it's the creator. I think they're really into foreign culture, but at the same time they're still like, okay, foreign culture over here, Japanese culture over here. We're trying to keep it Japanese, the whole group mentality thing and whatnot, of course. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. Because it is done in Japan, but at the same time, I don't know how they're going to depict every person or every character in the manga from the manga. So, yes.
And as far as the Attack on Titan, if you are in our live show, and that's right, if you're watching this past and you're not watching this live, we have a live audience every single Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern. And if you are in our live audience right now, let us know your thoughts, and we might read it on the show. But next, I want to get the impressions from Cody. Cody Barr, what are your thoughts on this live action?
This will suck. I'm going to tell you why this will suck. This will suck so much. First of all, Japan, in terms of their movie-making budget, not quite on our same level. I had the feeling, was I disconnected? Oh no, I'm good. Okay. They tend to look a little bit lower budget. Also, I don't know how many people are fully aware of this, especially the people making this movie. The only Japanese person in Attack on Titan is Mikasa. First of all, I guess the creator hates his own country, if that's the one Japanese character he gave us. But she's the only Asian person. So every single other character would have to be a foreigner. So if they're not going to do that, already there's a major plot hole unless Eren Yeager is suddenly a traditional Japanese name.
Now, isn't that one more Japanese person than Full Metal Alchemist had? I'm just saying.
No, actually, well, no, the Xingis were kind of Chinese. Either way, it's Asian. There's one Asian person in the entire Attack on Titan story. One. But they're calling for foreigners to be the Titans. That smacks that good old-fashioned Japanese xenophobia. Ooh, big scary monster must be played by foreign white people. Big scary white man.
All right.
There's so much material to make fun of with that idea if they're doing that. It's like, we need big scary monsters. Get a bunch of foreigners. People were terrified of foreigners. Just make them scarier.
What about you, David? Let's do some point and counterpoint here. What do you think about this live action?
First of all, I just think that from my own perspective, I think that right now, as I am on convention duty, this is going to make fantastic riff tracks material. There is going to be some fine group of folks that are going to play this like a Saturday night or Friday night during a convention, and they've probably had a few adult beverages, and this is going to make great Riff Tracks material. Because there is absolutely no way a live-action Attack on Titan movie will be anything short of wonderfully terrible. And I can't wait. I want this to happen. I can't wait for this to happen. They can bring in as many foreign performers as they like. They can bring in as few Japanese performers as they like. Because I guess they think that's compensating for all the centuries of racism from Japan. I guess that's compensating for something. But I personally cannot wait.
I can't wait for the live-action adaptation of Terraform Mars. That'll really make up for it.
and watch and listen to the other side episode where you will find the context of why he just said that. But you know what? I want to find another bit of context, and that's the context of our live chat. And they've been chiming in, and we have Dean the Adequate, who is also part of the A3K crew. He writes, actually, Korean filmmakers would make a great live-action Attack on Titan.
Sean,
it wouldn't be like the series, but it would be awesome. I don't know if he's
my waifu there. Is my waifu there? Packer Girl 89, is she there?
Packer Girl 89 is there, and
Packer Girl 89, how you doing tonight, girl? How you doing? It's good to see you. I appreciate you tuning in to this.
Yeah, okay. And Jack is also there, and Jack made a comment earlier about the Queen reference I made. And Jack, yes, you are the Count of A3K. It is official. I've said it. I made it so. You are the official Count of the A3K podcast, of the A3K network. The next topic we want to talk about is Japanese governments. The manga anime guardians have deleted 700,000 illegal files in 5 months. And if you go to the show notes, if you're on our YouTube, you go to show notes for that. You can check out that link to find out more about what we're talking about. So let's go with Cody on this one. What are your impressions on this happening?
Well, as someone who has spent many years as an unabashed pirate, downloading things illegally left and right because I give no shits, I'm like, oh, it's hard to get stuff. But as someone who doesn't do that as much anymore and is trying to sell their own comic, I'm like, yay, because I'm a hypocrite and I don't care. I kind of get this, but you're never going to stop it, guys. You will never stop it. As someone who's been in that world, and kind of still is, you don't stop. They just make, oh, you took it down, well then their friend puts it back up. You don't stop it. You incentivize purchase. You cannot stop piracy, so you have to have a better alternative. Because if you delete the pirated material, someone who already took the pirated material will put it right back up the second you delete it.
And before I go,
patreon.com/cloudscratcher, everybody.
Thank you.
Contribute.
You're my best friend.
Before I go into my counterpoint on that, on what we would do to make a better option, which I think I think a lot of the things that they've been doing, has gone light years from, like, say, 2009, when they weren't really doing much of anything. Yeah. Crunchyroll just came out.
That's why I don't pirate as much anymore.
Maybe we'll get some feedback on what they can do so they can be justified in their deleting of all this this anime and manga.
If you're good at marketing, you don't have to have anybody delete something. People just won't go pirate it. Unless they're super poor, but they're not going to buy your stuff anyway.
All right, we'll get more into this in a second. I want to get the rest of the feedback. So, JD, what do you think about this, being our resident manga expert, along with Colton, of course? Mute yourself. Mute yourself. Unmute yourself.
JD, you're muted.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm muted. Okay. Well, I think that the manga and anime, I think the industry, they're still, of course, like Cody does, the whole downloading and whatnot. I think they've been doing that slowly, not just these last 5 months, but the last year or so. But it hasn't come under the manga anime guardians name yet, you know, like they've been doing that already, but it wasn't just anime and manga. It was like if you downloaded a video in your apartment here, then that information is sent to somewhere, and they can actually come in and tell you, oh, your internet's been disconnected until you take off all of those downloads or whatever. So it's not anything new per se. It's just new that it's in English and it has a name called Manga Anime Guardians now. So it's not new news. And if you live here anyways. But I do feel that if I understand like downloading stuff, why would you want to download anything like movies and stuff anyways? Because that's just evidence on your computer anyways, Cody.
That's why you have separate hard drives.
Okay, and I think that and also you can get viruses and stuff like that.
That's why you're smart about where you get it from. There's something, you have to live in this world, JD. When you live in this world, you know what to do.
Okay, I don't live in this world.
Boy.
I'm not on this podcast. Okay.
I was a bad boy.
Don't go. Yeah, don't go. I mean, I understand streaming stuff, that's more understandable. But like, I can understand that what they're trying to do is just that when you're going around behind the back of everybody else and doing that, you're kind of almost doing the same thing as what the pirates are doing and whatnot. So I just think that it's not new news, and I don't feel like it's surprising or anything like that. The Japanese government would do that, because I'm sure the American government does that too. But that's my take on it. I'm kind of like, well, it's not new, it's not surprising, it's just something that's being done now. So I don't have anything to be guilty over. So since I buy most of my manga, yay.
Most.
Well, people give me manga too, actually. So yay. But yeah.
Sorry about that. So, Cody, you were saying, they should have better alternatives, but what alternatives would you suggest that would, kind of curb this?
I think it depends. There's a lot of things you can do. One of the things that I find makes purchasing better than pirating is, first of all, superior translations, because if you're getting like scanlations from... Like, the whole thing where they started doing simultaneous scans, that was a good step in the right direction. And the thing like with scanlators is they tend to be weebs, and they leave stuff untranslated, or they translate too specifically to the Japanese. So a superior translation is one way. It's like, I could get it from these guys and get my One Piece here and have everybody call each other Nakama and have really stilted dialogue, or I can get it here where everything flows naturally. Well, I'm going to go here, and that's the legit. That's one way.
Well, all of the translations aren't done by translators. The translators literally translate the information, from Japanese to English, and it's up to the editors to make it into whatever colloquialisms and whatnot
well,
it needs to be. A lot of it is but a lot of times in the manga industry now, especially with the money not being so readily available as before, they're getting rid of their editors. So now you have less editors on teams. And so what I think one of the smart things that especially Japan did in the last 2 years was they had actually translating contests. So they're trying to get the scanlations teams to come and be legit for theirs. Another thing that they're doing is that like you said, the simultaneous scans and whatnot. I think that having the manga come out at the same day, or as Japan, or the anime come out, and then having it already available, and then it's like you can only get it right now through this network. I think that if they just, Crunchyroll does this, businesses and whatnot. I think if they had something that wasn't so expensive in one package as well, and it came out the same day as in Japan, that would work a lot better. That would be a better alternative than just, hey, buy this thing for $14 each. Instead of that, you could be like here, instead of paying $15 a month, which most, let's say, anyone under the age of 21 can't do a monthly thing because they don't have an account. Why can't you do like $15 a whole year? Like a subscription, like a manga subscription or magazine subscription. That's the problem, is that they're not thinking about that.
Right now, anime the anime industry in America is way ahead of the manga industry by like 20 bajillion miles. Like I just out of the not only convenience but better product. I have not pirated an anime since I was a fucking teenager because why? It's good. They do me good now. I don't need to. You know, it don't cost much.
Thank you, based Crunchyroll.
I can watch it on my nice sound system here, and Funimation, like the way they do it, especially they get you reasonable price with a lot of episodes, and it's really well dubbed, with really well acted, and it's a lot simpler to just pick it up and just buy it. They have made it more of a hassle to pirate than to be legitimate. Thus, that has encouraged me to be legitimate there. Now, I will still pirate something if it sucks and I gotta watch it, because I'm not paying for shit. But when I want it, it's much easier, and I much prefer to go buy it because of the convenience and product. So they have successfully, in my view, discouraged piracy, not by like, stop it, you stop it, you stop, because you can't, that doesn't work.
I am of the opinion
works.
that if a company is willing to put out a quality product at a reasonable price, I am more than willing to pay for it. And I think nowadays...
Of course you are! Of course you are! You're an anime fan! Of course you are!
And
you're a grown man, too, so...
You have to treat piracy...
Hold on. Let David finish his thought. Go ahead.
With a lot of anime distribution, it has gotten to that point. It's all of the points that Cody said, except I'm not a pirate. If it gets to a point where if there is a reasonable price for something, I am okay to pay that. I will say, if this is what you're offering for this level of quality, okay, that is acceptable, because I don't mind doing that, because I know that money is going somewhere, and that's perfectly okay with me. And it's as Cody said, it's making it harder to pirate things, and if you can do that, that's pretty good, because I can watch the Funimation simuldub of Death Parade, but if I don't like the dub because it's probably got J. Michael Tatum in it, I can watch the subtitles, and it's at a reasonable price, and that's awesome to me. We've reached that point.
You have to treat pirates like a competing business, where you've got this other business that are offering what you're offering for free. And they get nothing and they want nothing. They're crazy people. And you have to now compete on a business level with crazy people. You can't just tell the crazy people to go away. They're crazy people. They come back. You have to beat them at a business level.
And if you're that business, you can say, okay, here's what the crazy people are offering you. Here is what we are offering you for just about this much. What do you say? And I'm one of the people that will say, you know what, that's cool. I'm good. Here you go.
Or you can do what most companies do. They buy out the competition and lower the market and increase their market share.
Capitalism for the win.
That's so Starbucks right there. That is so Starbucks, you know. But you
can never own the entire market. That is the essence of capitalism.
True.
You can you can own a big chunk of it, but as soon as some mom and pop comes, like you can be Starbucks, but as soon as if some mom and pop comes along, like we invented a coffee that's cheap to make, tastes better, and will cure your impotency, Starbucks is dead.
JD, you're gonna say something?
I think that the way that anime and manga is sold, especially in the United States, like I do think it's a little better in Japan, but I feel like they should be pulling from other sources, like for instance the music industry. I mean, you find the full album of something that just came out on YouTube, but you know what's happening is that all these music artists and stuff like that, now they're having more concerts, more live events. And they can sell more of their stuff there, and that's the only way you're going to get that unplugged, whatever thing there, And I know that anime and manga, it's a different medium, and it's a little bit different industry, but they should be pulling sources from other places. But I do have on my blog, and I'm plugging myself just like Cody does, on my blog, I do have a list of manga, mostly manga, subscription sites you can try. Some of them are free. and you can read manga on there. So if you want to check it out, you can go to my blog on jadescape.com, and that's an alternative to downloading or seeing like scanlations and stuff like that. So I use it personally myself. So.
And going back to our live chat, we have a lot of conversation going on about this topic. And being the adequate, Christopher Kinsey writes, pick yourself by your otaku bootstraps. I see a whole lot of Pocky in your cupboards. Could have bought some honest translations, and that was reference to our manga conversation we were having. Johnny, who is our behind-the-scenes maestro, he is strongly for supporting the industry and not stealing. And there's a lot of other conversations about picking up from Packer Girl in '89, and Jack about Hulu, Netflix, and other places you can purchase or rent or whatever it is, stream anime. And moving on from this topic, because who doesn't love a good story about pirating, we have Toonami, which is another avenue of getting anime. And depending on if you are paying
dead.
If you're paying for it or your parents are paying for it, you can watch anime on Toonami, and it's celebrating its 18th anniversary, which is, I don't know what 18th is.
It's dead, Sean.
I don't know what the anniversary is for 18th. So we talk about Toonami all the time, but I think since it is its 18th anniversary, what is the current state of Toonami? I mean, and it's taken away the fact that it's not the Toonami you grew up with, you know, realistically looking at the offerings that they have. David, tell us how you really feel about Toonami.
Sean, I did a panel regarding Toonami in 2010 at Youmacon in downtown Detroit, when it was dead. I redid a panel at Youmacon in 2014 when it came back, because things started to look like there was an upturn. Recently, the lineup has been cut in half. The ratings have been in the tank. And I have no choice to believe that Toonami, after 18 years, is dead and obsolete. Because of all of the things we just talked about, we can get our animus over the interwebs on all of our devices, and something on Saturday nights, which is a terrible lineup, at a terrible time slot, is not doing anything good for the anime industry or for the shows that it was licensing. For the first year or so, all of the big shows, Attack on Titan, Dragon Ball Z, well, not Dragon Ball Z because that came back because people on Tumblr complained we wanted TVZ! But Attack on Titan and a few others were all getting over 1 million viewers per week. It was great for Saturday nights. But the ratings tanked. I blame Inuyasha.
He blames Inuyasha. Cody, who do you blame?
I think he's kind of right, but I don't think the length getting cut in half was part of it being dead. That's just that area of the night is a dead zone. That's why they just throw whatever the fuck, and they just couldn't afford to just keep going to a point where no one's watching TV. The ratings are in the tank because he has the lineup. It has nothing to do with Toonami. It has to do with the current lineup because they ran out of. Toonami used to, when they finished a show, they restart it and rerun it. They stopped doing that. Like, okay, replace it. Well, I missed an episode. People kind of like that rerun period. They stopped doing that, and they started putting in new shows too fast. They ran out of good shows. Kill la Kill. People started turning on Kill la Kill back when it was coming out in Japan. The hype is dead for Kill la Kill.
I have to live tweet that show. I have to live tweet Kill la Kill.
You don't have to. Kill la Kill is crap. I think the fix is in for Kill la Kill. Toonami picked up Kill la Kill after everyone except for the teenagers realized this show is ass. So they've got this crap dragging it down. I would not blame Inuyasha. Inuyasha still has a big fan base that were waiting for those final episodes they're finally playing.
Yeah.
I think Cody, Sword Art Online 2 is coming.
That's part of the problem. Only hardcore motherfucking otakus enjoy Sword Art Online. Everybody's either ambivalent to it or makes fun of it. It warms my heart to see all the people that make fun of Sword Art Online.
Demographic.
David?
They're going for the teen demographic. It seems like Toonami is desperate to try and grab the younger demographic. I said gribe instead of grab.
You are drunk.
Because I'm drunk.
Destroyed.
I am drunk. Confirmed.
Well,
You are super smashed, brother.
Nice.
Super.
Cody for the win.
Toonami is making an attempt to grab the younger demographic with shows like Kill la Kill and like Sword Art Online and DBZ Kai because that show just won't go away.
Hey, because Kai's the good version. We were owed this. We deserve it. We sat through that old dub. We deserve Kai.
In 5 minutes, this planet will explode.
This time it's actually around that time.
But it's not working. The thing is that the ratings are actually falling. Because what got Toonami to work so well in the 90s and the early 2000s wasn't just shonen, 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 shonen. It was an actual diverse lineup that was at a time slot where everybody could watch it.
Now the time slot. If the time slot's a problem,
that kind of goes with something that Dean the Adequate just said. He puts the problem is the lineup isn't catering across more types of fans. And that's something you just said, David, so I think you had a good point there.
I think that David's wrong about the time slot because ratings were damn fine in the beginning and it had the same damn time slot. People will stay up. It's Saturday. They have nothing to do the next day unless they're super religious. If they're super religious, they're probably getting fucking offended over the content anyway. So
I think if they want to get the kids, it should be in prime time, not late night.
The kids are up late on Saturday. I don't know, old man. I don't know how in touch you are with today's youth. They don't fucking sleep.
These kids today, they didn't have to go what me and Sean went through.
Midnight on Saturday night ain't no thing.
Who knew a guy who had like a broken VHS of an episode of Tenchi, and the dub was done by like 4 dudes and a girl in their garage, and the girl had to do all of the voices in the dub. You don't tell me, Cody. You don't tell me.
What dub is that? I want to hear that dub.
I think we found the secret sauce for our podcast. We're gonna be a drinking podcast now, folks.
Hold on. I'm gonna get David. I'm gonna get David farther along, make this more entertaining. Hey, David. Jojo.
Yes!
At the beginning. Oh!
And for those of you who don't know what's going on, we have a JoJo drinking game. Every time JoJo's mentioned on the podcast, you take a drink. And if you are under the age of 21, you take a drink of your apple juice of choice because we're all about responsibility here, people. The next topic is a show that could potentially save Toonami if it was picked up, and that show is a manga that's going to be made into an anime in October called One Punch Man. And if you ever watch this A3K podcast at any point in your life,
this better live up to the hype.
You know that is my Hunter x Hunter of shows that are actually being currently produced. That One Punch Man is great. So I'm going to go to JD. JD, tell us a little bit about One Punch Man for those of us who aren't fortunate enough to be able to read cool things.
Okay, so One Punch Man is originally a webcomic, and it's by, what was his name? One, actually. Written by One and illustrated by Yusuke Murata. And this, I was really expecting the anime to come out sooner because everyone kept talking about it and stuff, but it's very big now in Japan. So it's basically a story goes around this fictional city called City Z, and this manga right now is kind of almost like a parody of shonen manga genre in general, where you have one guy and the main character, he is so funny, but his name is Saitama. and he is so strong that he can take out somebody like one punch. Man, that would be a horrible boxing match. But he gets so bored with just beating all these villains that he's like, I am in search of someone stronger than me, so I actually have something to do. But yeah, so he's just this random like protagonist that's super strong, that's looking for the strongest opponent, basically. So it's very funny. You should definitely check it out, especially for a bald-headed, weird-looking, plain-looking, I guess, main character. Yeah. So
Who are you calling bald-headed and weird-looking, JD? I've been nothing but nice to you since I joined the A3K network.
Hey, your head's kind of
I've been nothing but nice to you.
It's okay.
You're the queen of the A3K network.
It's okay. It's
I've
okay.
been nothing but nice to you, JD.
As far as One Punch Man,
Turned into a cartoon character.
as far as One Punch Man is concerned, she went over the premise of it, but one of the things that I liked about it is when I first watched it, I didn't know what to expect. It looked like a comic, it looked like a straight comedy, but when I watching it, if you watch, I keep saying watch it because I'm so ready for the anime. If you read One Punch Man, all you can think as you're turning the pages or flipping through whatever it is you're using to read One Punch Man, this would be an amazing anime because the action is so intense, and I don't think there's a lull in any part of that manga that I've seen so far. It is like non-stop action. Almost every chapter is funny. There's a lot of comedy. It's super absurd, but it's done in a way that you wish your favorite shonen anime, not including JoJo, your favorite shonen anime.
Damn it! Damn it!
There you go, David. Your favorite anime, your action, whatever, was like this show. So stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. Check out One Punch Man right now. Get ready for the anime. And anybody else? I know, Cody, you haven't seen it, but I know you've been interested in checking it out. Maybe this is your chance.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork in the manga is so good, I want to lick it. But then they kick me out of the bookstore, so I can't do that. Exactly. It's beautiful. It would be David, that's creepy. You drunk. David, go home. Go home. You had too many. Okay, David, you getting suggestions. I know what you're doing. I know what your head was doing up there. Your technique's all off, but we'll get into that after the show. But yeah, it would be the best looking manga in print if Berserk didn't exist. It's gorgeous.
True.
I look at it and stare. I don't even know what it's about at this point. I just look at it as like this is what cartoon characters are like when they look at like hot models or something.
And shout out to Colton, who I know is also a fan of One Punch Man. We've had conversation about it in the past, and he cannot wait for the anime either. He's in the chat right now. And then that kind of brings us to our last bit of topic that we're going to be talking about on the show, and that is Funimation announces BlazBlue Ultra Memory English dub cast. Now this combines two things, and I won't even switch the camera because two things that I know Cody loves. He loves him some Funimation, and he loves BlazBlue. So tell us, what are your thoughts on this happening?
Well, I'm mildly excited because I know this was kind of an adaptation. If I watch it, it would be purely for fanboy-y moments and to see what the scriptwriters do with any scene Hazuma's in, because if you've played the game, you know that Hazuma he gets all the good lines. I like the fact that they've got the game cast back, except for like one or two. Apparently Platinum is like in there for like 3 lines, so I can see why they didn't go actually try to get her actual actress in the game back. But I'm noticing a distinct lack of Iron Tiger in this list, and that worries me because Jameson Price as Iron Tiger is one of the best voices in BlazBlue. Jameson Price is responsible.
Oh God, Shoni, Jameson Price, Cody. Oh God, he's like my favorite voice actor. He's awesome.
He is responsible for giving Tiger a lot of his charm and personality, and like Jameson Price's delivery is second to none. And if we don't get Jameson Price in the anime, that's going to be a big big blow right to just right to his forehead. Oh, it's gonna be nasty, just nasty. It's not gonna be right if Iron Tager opens his mouth and Jameson Price's voice don't come out. Otherwise, I do like the fact they went out of their way to get the game cast. That is great. I am so down with that. I'll probably check it out as a novelty because, again, I know it's a pretty doo-doo adaptation and the animation gets kind of goofy looking sometimes, but Funimation is treating this right, as they often do, because they know what they're doing. So, it might be cool to watch, for the dub, mainly.
Right now we're going to be going to our takeaway, and the takeaway to kind of just talk about some of the things that we have coming up, kind of wrapping up the show. And so, JD, what do you have for us?
So, first off, being on A3K, I do have the Manga Corner that I host with Colton, who is on the Google right now, or YouTube, YouTube. And we do have an episode that just came out, Claymore. It came out right after our JoJo Adventures one. So, David, that's your cue.
I'm empty. I'm empty. I'm all out. That's it.
Aw, dang it, right when I had it one too.
We're at the takeaway. That's it. We're done.
Okay, so someone should take away his cups. Anyways, so check out our Claymore episode. Claymore did just end this year, so on Manga Corner. Also, I do have two websites. One is Jade's Escape. It's anything having to do with manga, anything if you're a manga artist. There are lots of resources there for you. Or if you have an anime club, I do have another website called Anime Ascendant. And actually recently a lot of people have applied for the small scholarship, which is about anywhere from $100 to $200 for their anime club. So please check out animeascendant.com or jadesescape.com in the show notes. Thank you.
Nice. And David, what is your takeaway?
First of all, I just want to wish a happy 21st birthday to A3K's very own comics cast artist, Jack D. Tyler D. She is joining me in having a few beverages in celebration of her 21st birthday. Happy birthday, Jack. You are fantastic. You are wonderful. Secondly, over at DeltaJulietMike.com and all things Delta Juliet Mike Media, we just did a brand new episode of Shooting the Shit with Two Nerdy Black Guys. Along with that, a brand new episode of the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast, where my co-host Petey Rave, who is at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas right now, we covered Insane Championship Wrestling, the wrestling promotion that is heating up things in the United Kingdom based out of Scotland. We covered that on the Fanny Pack Wrestling Podcast over at fannypackwrestling.com. Along with that, when I'm not at a convention and really inebriated, I am the regular host of the A3K Podcast, and you can check out the Nanashi Anime Podcast. Coming up soon, my friend Lily Inverse and I, who is also dealing in the Artist Alley at this convention, we'll be covering Record of Low DOS War. All that and more at DeltaJulietMike.com.
Nice. And Cody Barr.
Well, first of all you folks, I just jump right in. That's what I do. All you folks out there should read the fine, amazing, wonderful, I don't just say that because I write it and draw it, folks. I truly believe it. Webcomic, Cloud Scratcher. You look at those cute characters. Don't you want to follow their fucking adventures? You know you want to follow their fucking adventures. That's why you want to read Cloud Scratcher. You're falling in love with Cloud Scratcher. Which is because you want to read it so much, because it's such a great comic.
It is a good comic, Cody. It's a very good comic. It is good.
And if you folks would like to help support the comic and help me be able to make more and make it better and produce more frequent updates, patreon.com/cloudscratcher. Show your support. Invest in this wonderful product. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come. I'm here. You know what that means. It's time to get educated, everybody. Album of the week. Here, you can stop the fanfare. This week, I'm going back to an artist that I've discussed before, who has released one of the greatest albums I've ever heard in my life. You all remember when I did sort of focus on one of the three great musical geniuses working today, an individual by the name of one Devin Townsend.
Oh, yes, yes. Which album are you covering, Cody?
Oh,
Which album are you covering?
his newest fare, a double album. You get two for the price of one.
Ziltoid!
Z2. Z2 has two albums. One is a Devin Townsend Project album with random songs about random things, and it is fantastic. Some of the best songs I've ever heard. The track Fallout on this album is one of the greatest rock songs ever put to sound. Fallout blows your fucking ass out of your face. And the rest of every single track on that disc is amazing. This is one of the few albums, every goddamn track is a winner. Every track. There's no filler. There's no okay tracks. Every track rocks your face. Every track is better than your favorite band. But then you come to the other album. A while back, Devin Townsend released an album called Ziltoid the Omniscient, which injected a character into the minds of all fans of rock and metal.
Cody,
A character that will endure
I would love to know, Cody.
in our hearts and minds.
I would love to know. What did you think of the Casualties of Cool album, Cody?
I actually featured that one. I will tell you that after this podcast.
All right, very good.
But I did feature that as an album of the week. Injected a character that will live on our hearts, Ziltoid the Omniscient, an alien space invader that has come to Earth to take our coffee. Initially, it was the original Ziltoid album was a comedic, sci-fi, heavy metal rock opera about said space alien coming to Earth, taking over Earth using the power of rock and roll and failing, and then a bunch of other stuff. It had story arcs, and it was funny. And then he decided, I will make a sequel. Now, the reason that I'm recommending the sequel and not the original is because, A, the sequel is... Well, the original was great, the sequel's even better, and the sequel does not take the original... If you heard the original, you know why it's not canon. I'm not going to spoil the twist ending. But the sequel basically is its own thing. If you actually watch, Devin put out 3 ZTV videos that are basically lead-ups, prequels to this album, so you get to see what Ziltoid looks like, and you get some prologue into the plot of the album. The basic gist of the story is Ziltoid has become a celebrity. Earth loves him a whole lot, but then he happened to abduct an alien from a moon, one of Pluto's moons, or whatever the fuck it was, I don't remember, a creature called a Poozer that is pretty much a butt. It is a butt. It is if Kirby was a butt. That's what a Poozer looks like. But the Poozer makes its way back home and tells its queen that it was abducted, and the queen comes to Earth for revenge and to get the coffee from Earth, because coffee, well, it's a lot more special than just giving you that pick-me-up. I won't tell you why, but there are twists, there are turns, there are plot character arcs in this thing, and it's fucking hilarious, and it rocks! March of the Poozers will destroy your speakers in a fiery rage of metal, and then you'll start laughing when the narration kicks in. It is the most beautifully crafted extended fart joke in music history. Z2 by Devin Townsend. It is one of the greatest albums ever printed. It will change your goddamn life. Buy it! And that's the album of the week.
And that was the A3K podcast. And I would like to thank, before I thank the panel, everyone that's sitting here right now, spending their Saturday night here with all of you wonderful folks listening and watching. I would like to thank our live audience here on our YouTube page. And if you want to be part of our live audience every single week, go to youtube.com/A3KTV. You'll see the link for it. Check out our Twitter at twitter.com/anime3000, anime3000, and you'll get a link to that as well around 11 p.m. Eastern Saturday nights. So a big shout out to PackerGirl89 who always shows up and shows their support. We appreciate that. The A3K crew that's hanging out. David Majors, who's setting messages, and David obviously is in this as well. But that's how we roll. The crew who's actually on the show, we actually go and interact with you guys as well. So that's another reason to go. Jack, happy birthday to Jack, and happy birthday to Andrew Erickson. Also shout out to Andrew Erickson. 2 birthdays in 1 week.
My boy.
Who would have guessed?
Andrew! We need to have you on the podcast again, Andrew. I need to have you on the podcast again.
My boy.
And then Leanne, of course, definitely always representing Abyss 1992, Chris Art, and Dean the Adequate. with his very insightful comments that he's been posting. Can't forget Johnny. And then if I missed anybody, JD's on the representing on there as well. If I missed anybody, Colton.
Sean, I just want to say, I love you, Sean. You are fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sean Russell, the executive producer and founder of the A3K network at anime3000.com.
Okay, this is the point.
Yes, everybody. I am in full I love you man mode, everybody. I am in full I love you man mode. And Sean, I just want you to know, thank you for this great opportunity. I love you, man. Cody, god damn it, you are a wonderful human being.
I know.
All right, folks.
You.
Ladies and gentlemen,
JD, you are wonderful. I would love to I hope you get your computer fixed, because I would love to have you on the A3K podcast as often as possible. Go ahead and take it home, Sean. Take it home.
Take it away. Roll them away. Just
make sure you go to anime3000.com. David will be back to normal, hosting next week, hopefully. And I will be in a live chat as well. So thank you all for checking us out, and we will see you next week.
Enjoy DDK!
I'm drunk.